If somebody told you they were on a dating app and that's how they met their husband, would you give them a little side eye? What if that same person said they're about to celebrate 10 years of marriage? You might think about dating apps a little different. Hey guys, I am Valencia and welcome to the Connie Collective channel. If you're not too busy, go ahead and like and subscribe and share with a friend. But let's go ahead with the show. So today I had a conversation with two ladies about how me and my husband met. Now, one lady in particular have met my husband and know that we're seemingly night and day. We listen to different music. We're like really opposite. I'm like, here I am, world, and my husband is more quiet, at least in public with people he don't know. But funny thing, I met my husband on Plenty of Fish. Now, I think it was either a dating app or a website. Probably was a website because this was 2012. So apps weren't like a huge thing. And if you know anything about Plenty of Fish, it is not a meet me at the altar in your white dress type of website. So at that point in time in my life, I was looking just for somebody to hang out with. I had just not too long got out. Well, no, it had been like 2 years at that point. Got out of a very serious, long, borderline traumatic relationship. And I was not looking to be serious with anybody. I just wanted somebody I could hang out with sometimes. Nothing serious, but like you're my person, I'm your person, but we're keeping it casual, if you know what I mean. So that's how we both approach the situation. So the funny thing about dating apps, at least Plenty of Fish, right? How I set my profile up, I did not put a picture at all. I just put, things about me, things that were important and those things. But I remember I was like, I'm not putting a picture because I don't want anyone approaching me or coming to me based on what I look like. I want it to be purely what I say, my mind, my emotions, that type of thing, because that's how I connect with people. I don't connect with people based on how they look, and I didn't want anyone to connect with me based on how I look. So on dating websites, as a woman, it could get ridiculous. You get random pictures of guys' private areas, which I don't know who started that, but fellas, if a woman doesn't ask for it, don't don't do it. Okay? Just don't. It's not, we're not gonna look at that and be like, oh my gosh, I want to marry him. And this show is for women that are looking to try something different and wanting to find that person, that other part of you. So on my husband's profile, I remember I looked at his pictures. He looked like a nice, fun guy. It was not the pictures of here's me and my fancy car, and his description was not, I make this kind of money, I work out 5 days a week. It wasn't superficial. And I can't remember exactly what his profile said, but I remember he had a quote that said, not all who wander are lost, or however that quote goes. And I love that. Never heard the quote before, but I thought it was interesting. So me with my quirky smart mouth, I messaged him and I put, well, sometimes they are. And that's how we connected. That was our conversation. That's how it started. And we talked to the app, eventually exchanged numbers. da 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 da. 3 years after, talking to decide, yeah, like we want a relationship, to moving in 3 years later, you know, we got married and we're about to celebrate 10 years of marriage. And some tips I want to give you guys, right? So, one thing about my husband that I knew, this was the guy that I wanted to get to know. He didn't send me any pictures of his private areas. And yeah, I'm Southern, okay? So it's private area. Nor did he ask me for any pictures of mine. So if a guy is, even if you're not looking to get serious, but if a guy comes out with showing you pictures of his private parts, asking if you want to see them, asking you for pictures of yours, that is a red flag. Unless you're looking for that. But again, I'm talking to the ladies who want a meaningful, happy relationship. And this is from somebody who, my husband is my best friend. So 13 years later, it's almost like day one, day two. Um, so that's one red, one red flag, unless you're into that type of stuff, right? So another thing, he, even though I didn't have a picture up, and he did ask me about that, and I told him that I'm only going to share my picture if I feel like you are somebody who I want to get to know and meet, because I didn't want to talk to people online and you see a real picture of me and you may have a fake picture of you, and you know who I am, I don't know who you are, those things. So, and I want you to get to know me here and here, because those are the things about me that's not going to change. Your looks over time, as you get older, those things are going to change, but who you are in your heart is not. So, whether we're friends or maneuvering towards a relationship, I want you to get to know that part, right? So, we had several discussions and I knew like I wanted to get to know him. And the funny thing is, when we finally decided to meet, I can't remember how much time passed, but he actually lived around the corner from me. But otherwise, we never would have met. So that's something to consider as well. Like your soulmate, your partner, that person who makes you feel good may be right around the corner, 10, 15 minutes away. But because y'all, may have your own things going on to where you're not out and about like that, you may never meet this person. And the way I was working at that time, the way my husband was working at that time, we literally never would have met. So we would have never met. So one of the things that I advise women, as let's say you go ahead, decide to set up a profile, don't give too much information, but just enough to where somebody will say, hey, I want to get to know more about her or something like that. Don't think about what you want. Think about how you want to feel. Because I think in relationships, or when it comes to us meeting people, and you're thinking about all the things you want. I want a man with the 6-pack, 6 figures, and 6 houses, and 6 this or 7, 8, 9, 10 of that, or whatever else. Those are wants. And the only thing that you should be focusing on is how you want to feel. So I told my husband, I just wanted to feel respected. I wanted to be happy. That was my whole goal. And that was my whole goal. I just wanted to be with someone that made me happy. That's it. And the thing is, there's so many things that fall under that happy umbrella, right? So if your goal is to be happy and have a happy, healthy relationship, period, if that is your goal, then everything else will fall under that umbrella. right? So we focused on being friends because remember, we both of us had not too long got out of long-term relationships. And when I say not too long, I'm talking about like 2, 3 years, and both of us were enjoying somewhat our single life and being free. We weren't looking to lock down anybody or to get locked down. So we focused on being friends and hanging out and getting to know each other. And that's the one thing about when you get to take time to get to know somebody with no expectations, you're comfortable being who you are and so are they. Versus if you put expectations on somebody, then you're going to act a certain way, they're going to act a certain way. So that's one of the things that we all really need to look at. How do I want to feel? How do I want somebody to make me feel? So back to the dating app. That's one of the red flags, okay? And that's really what I want to hit because most of all, your safety is a priority. So when you finally, find somebody that you like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna meet this person. Keep it casual. Meet in public. Okay. We're talking bowling alleys, coffee shops, something short, sweet, quick. You can meet at the gas station during the day just to see each other, make sure it's a real person, you're not being catfish, whatever. You let other people know where you're going, who you're going to meet, and as crazy as it may sound, I need to see ID. So I did ask my husband, I did ask him to see his ID because I needed to verify what he told me was correct. His name, old he was, his address, different things of that nature. You want to, and I know it may sound a little psycho, but if you don't have anything to hide, then at least let me verify your name and your age, right? And that may not be for everybody, but again, we're talking about your safety. And then after you meet them in a public place, we're not talking about first date, we're talking about first meeting. I don't believe in like first dates and first meetings all in one. No, we're going to have a first meeting, then we'll maneuver to the first date or further conversations. So, as you talk to this person on the phone or whatever, or you text, pay attention to words they use, jokes they may tell, different things that they say. Listen, and as women, we do like to run our mouth, which is fine and good, but you're trying to get to know this other person. Do they have kids? And this is something that was very important to me because both of us was coming into the relationship with kids. But one of the things I said before I was ready to get serious, now months had passed. I want to say like we were together like a year before I met his kids because that was going to determine the next step. Because a lot of women don't think about this. You meet somebody and y'all gung ho ready to move in and start a life, and then you meet his kids and they are, you know. So, one of the things that was very important to me is not only that I met his kids, that I liked them. Because let's be honest, we've all met some kids that we don't like. And what you don't want is for those kids you don't like to become your stepkids or your bonus kids. So, and we're talking about, steps down the line, you know. But back to the online dating, right? You're still in the beginning stages of getting to know this person. Be who you are. Because if you pretend to be some nice, sweet, going to the gym every day, eat healthy type of person, and then soon as you get out of that character, that you set up, and the guy may be like, hey, this is not what I signed up for. So you want that person to get to know all the parts of you, and you want to get to know all the parts of them. There's a difference between a guy that has a job and somebody that has a work ethic or a hard worker, right? There's a difference between a guy that has kids and a guy that's a father. Just like, if you're a guy watching, if you're looking at a woman that has kids, y'all talking or whatever, what does she do with her kids? How does she talk about them? That's important, because I find that the relationship someone has with their children, their family, people around them is, it's not like the period, but it's an indication of y'all relationship and how they care or don't care, if that makes sense. So, those are some of the things you want to look at as well when it comes to online dating. Back to the safety part. Please, I see so many women, whether it's on a show I watch or things I hear about, you meeting a guy, I love him, and you moving them in and you have kids. Don't do it. Don't do it. A firm rule of mine, and take this back to online dating or any dating. I have a son. Now he's grown now, but one of the rules that I had when I met a guy, if you are the type of guy that do not have a problem with my son growing up to be like, I could date you. But if there were some things about you and I don't want my son to emulate those things, we could see each other outside the house. You never meeting my child. This is never going anywhere. So ladies, as you out in this dating world and you're meeting guys or whatever, ask yourself, am I okay if my son grow up to be exactly like this person? Would I be okay if my daughter grew up to date somebody like this? Because that right there will often tell you if this is the person for you, somebody you want to get to know, something like that. Those are just some safety tips, and let me reiterate them real quick, because it is the month of love. It's the year of love, the lifetime of love. We all deserve happy, healthy relationships, and you may find those in places that you never thought about. So let me reiterate these tips when it comes to online dating that you could apply really to any area. Number one, if they ask or send private pictures, run. If they immediately start talking, or the only thing they really have to offer is materialistic things, run. Because honestly, people with real money don't have to brag about it. And I look at money is too easy to make and too easy to lose. That's nothing to brag on. So yeah, meet initially, short and sweet, public place during the day. Ask for verification, right? You want to verify that person's name and their age and their address, but you don't have to go that far. You just really want to know that you're with who they at least say they are. Go into it with no expectations, but to have a good time. And if they do ask, hey, what are you looking for? Keep it casual. We'll see where this goes. So, hope that helps. And let me know in the comments, have you tried dating apps? What was your experience? Do you have any other questions that you would like answered? Make sure you like the video, show your girl some love. I'm just trying to, out here giving some of my 48 years of wisdom to the people that need it. So with that being said,